Welcome back to Locker Room Dads. For today's podcast, we have a very special guest. We are fortunate enough to have the most handsome, red-headed snapper in the NFL. He went to the Harvard of the West. Air quotes were put there for all the listeners not seeing our stream right now. He wears number 48 for the Chicago Bears. Welcome, Pat Scales, to the show.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We are ready to talk on Locker Room Dads about being a dad.
All right.
One of the best dads I know.
Oh, thanks, man.
So let's dive into your football background a little bit. We did mention Harvard of the West. So if you would like to elaborate a little bit, where exactly is the Harvard of the West? One might think Stanford, USC.
You might.
Huh?
You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. Yeah, it would be Utah State University, Logan, Utah. Yeah, I was a walk-on there. I walked on as a tight end and a long snapper. Played tight end for 1 year, redshirted, and then there was nobody to back me up. I won the long snapping job the following spring, and there was nobody behind me, so if I got hurt, they'd be screwed. So they came to me and said, hey, do you just want a long snap? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then 2 years or a year after that, so I walked on for 2 years, and then my third year, I got a scholarship. So,
of course you did. The athletic being that you are.
Yeah.
Come on. So NFL wise, huh?
I said honorable mention, all-state tight end, class of 2006, Weber High School.
All right.
Shout out. So let's talk about your NFL journey a little bit. You started in Baltimore, right? Coming out of college.
Yeah. My rookie year was the lockout year, which kind of screwed up all the rookies. But yes, Baltimore called, went and did training camp in Baltimore, did all 4 games, ended up getting cut, was then on the workout circuit for specialists. Did a bunch of workouts, never got picked up. Went back to Baltimore again the next offseason for OTAs and training camp. They cut me again after I surely thought they wouldn't cut me twice. They did. And then got back on the workout circuit and kept trying, kept going, and eventually made it. It took me 3.5 years to make an active roster, and that was actually with Baltimore, ironically. But once you get those regular season games, that kind of it's like your resume, right? So as long as you get regular season games, teams like seeing that, and you're more likely to get picked up. So just kept going and stuck with it, and it worked out well for me.
So you were married then at the time, right?
So when I first started, I was not. I was dating Brandy, but we weren't married yet. But we got married, I think, 2 years into the journey. Yeah. So 2013, we got married.
Nice. And how long did you guys wait to have kids? Did you guys jump right into it, or was it?
No, we waited. She probably would have wanted to have kids sooner. In fact, I know she did, but I wanted to be more financially secure. And while we were jumping around trying to make teams and, just barely making ends meet, and I was like, I don't know if it's a great time to have kids right now. And I mean, she was along those lines too. But once we made a team, we started having the talks and started having kids.
I feel like every man has that go through their mind, like just the financial security. It is a good idea. You have kids. It's awesome. But like as a man, it's not like you're, have cold feet or you're just like dragging your feet not to have kids. It's just like you want to make sure you're financially stable.
Yeah.
Like that's the responsibility.
You want a solid foundation. Yes. Like there's so much stress and stuff that is going to happen that you don't want to be stressed about everything else too.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the girls get kind of upset. They're like, you don't want kids? And you're like, hang on. I'm not saying I don't want kids, but it's more like, I got to make sure we're good here. We got to be all right. And then go time.
100%. I mean, the golf game goes out the window as soon as you have kids.
That's true. Well, mine went out the window a long time ago, but.
How was Brandy's pregnancy overall? Straightforward? Did you guys have any complications, issues?
It was pretty straightforward. Everything was fine up until for our first, for Aveline, up until the first, towards the end of it. Brandy didn't really gain much weight. And then at the end of it, the baby kept gaining weight, but Brandy's stomach didn't keep expanding. So basically the baby was running out of room in Brandy's stomach. So the doctors then started kind of being like, it's not a problem, but we just want to make sure that it doesn't become a problem. So we ended up inducing, I think, 2 weeks early and having her a little bit early. But other than that, no problems. And then our second child, that one towards the end, kind of the same problem, like towards the end, not running out of room, but she started having contractions like really early. And she ended up going into labor on her own, just naturally, really early at 36 and a half weeks.
Was that at the house or was that just at the hospital? You guys were smart. Actually, I think I remember that you were saying like,
yeah,
what?
It was in the middle of the night. She was having contractions. We thought it was just like the Braxton Hicks contractions or whatever, but she started having those probably at like 34, 35 weeks, something like that. But then they just continued and kept going. And the doctors ordered bed rest and all that. And you know how Brandy is very active, and there's no way she could do bed rest, so she did not. But
no, but the day of the pregnancy, didn't something?
Yeah.
She was like going to drive herself to the hospital, or was that the first?
Yeah. It was like the middle of the night. It was 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I was knocked out, sleeping, and she was down on the couch having these contractions and like screaming into a pillow because they hurt so bad. But she didn't want to wake me up, and she told me, like, I finally woke up, and she's like, "I'm just going to drive myself to the hospital. You stay here with Av. That way, like, no one has to come over or whatever." And I'm like, "You can't even." And she tried to like walk to go get her keys, and she just like bent over and was like. I was like, "You can't drive yourself to the hospital. Like, what if you do that while you're driving? You're gonna crash." So yeah,
you all packed in the car in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so we called the doc, and the doc was like, "Yeah, get in here." So had to wake up Av at 3 a.m. I dropped Brandy off at the hospital. She's walking into the hospital and makes it like, there's always those two doors.
Oh, yeah.
So she makes it through the first door and like halfway and then collapses again into another contraction. I'm just sitting in the car with my baby like, all right, good luck.
See you later.
Yeah, give it hell.
So where was your kid during the second birth then?
So we ended up having a babysitter come over who was a med student, and she had a test that day. And so, yeah, it was like super stressful. She had a test that day, but it all worked out. She ended up I think she just like emailed her professor. She did us a super solid. It was like, it's a quiz, not really a test, but I'm allowed to drop one. So it's not that big of a deal. We were like, no, but she helped us out a ton.
That's pretty clutch.
It all worked out.
That's really clutch.
Do you still keep in contact with that babysitter?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hopefully she got a fat tip that day.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, email the professor. Hey, make sure you bump that grade up. Right? Give her the curve.
Yeah. She said.
Let's talk a little bit about in season. You guys have a different dynamic, right? So Brandy is a baller realtor down there in Texas, and you stay up north. Mm-hmm. Just for everyone that's listening, everyone has like a different dynamic in the relationship. So, walk us through how she stays in Texas with the kids, and they have the school and this and that, and you do your thing up north, play football, and then they come up, for games and all that. So just walk us through any of that for our listeners.
Yep, exactly. So my wife's a realtor. She got her license 2 years ago, and she just had the need and the passion to kind of achieve her own goals and not just be a stay-at-home mom, which I respect. And so, we're both willing to compromise and do things, but her main goal is to like never miss a home game. She never wants the kids to miss a home game. So she'll stay in Texas during the week and do what she needs to do and sell houses and ball out. And then once Friday or Saturday, whatever her schedule kind of allows, even Sunday morning, sometimes she'll fly in for a game, but she'll usually fly in. And then she'll always stay for the off day after that. And as long as she can stay, she'll stay with the kids. And then she'll skip out and head back down to Texas and sell more houses and do her thing. It's definitely wild and crazy. And there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of flights and changing. And it's as hectic as you think it would be. But it's a lot of fun. And it allows both of us to kind of chase our dreams and have fun with it. So,
yeah, no, I think everybody thinks being in NFL has this like stereotype, like everything's picture perfect and you have this big house and there's so much security and this and that. But it's nice to hear. It's like refreshing that it's not straightforward. And I think like you and Brandy do an amazing job at like making it work. And the fact that she like flies in sometimes like on game day, I don't know how she does it, and the late flights, and then the kids are exhausted and she's tired and
working on top of it.
Yeah, that's a lot. So
working, dude. She by the time season ends, like she is way more exhausted than I am, for sure.
Yeah, she's been logging in the hours.
Yeah. Just doing a flight with 2 kids, and my kids are 4 and 3 right now.
Yeah,
So
that's
she's been doing this for like 2 years. So even when they were like, you know what I mean, needed help feeding and stuff like that, she was doing it.
Well, that's a good segue though into what we want to talk about. So Pat mentioned to me that you're big into travel and national parks and getting around. So obviously with a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, travel is usually a little more interesting than most people going around. So walk us through a good trip with you and where you're going.
Okay. Well, you nailed it. A national park for sure, somewhere. No, like dream trip would be probably Jackson Hole. We love going there. That's one of our favorite spots. And getting there is not easy. Luckily, there's an airport there. But last year we went there, and her parents were campground hosts at a campground up there. They'd recently retired and had a camper, and were there from April through October. So we're like, we want to come and stay. So in June, we went out there, and it was too expensive to fly into Jackson Hole, like rental cars and everything. It was like $1,000 a day for a rental car. So we were like, no way. So we booked a flight to Salt Lake. And so we flew to Salt Lake, both kids. And it's funny, dude, when we go through an airport, like Brandy has it so down pat from the season that I'm just there. I'm not even helping that much. She's just got them in line and they know what to do. And it's just like clockwork. It's so funny to watch.
It's like, don't mess up the routine, Pat. This is how we do things. Okay. Follow in line.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll try to help. I'll do stuff. And she'd be like, no, just stand there. Like, I got this. I'm like, all right, go girl.
Do you guys have any trips lined up this off season?
We're going to the Harvard of the West this week, Pat.
This week?
We're going to Logan, Utah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going. They're doing actually, it's for Brandy. My wife was a collegiate gymnast.
Oh, cool.
And they're having a get together and kind of a memorial. One of her old coaches actually passed away, sadly. But, with that comes the gathering of people and celebration of good times and stuff like that. So it should be a good time.
Now, do you want Av to follow in Brandy's footsteps, being a gymnast in college, or Pat being a NFL football player? Like, what do you got? Do you guys talk about that kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Av just got invited to. She does gymnastics already. We put both our kid in gymnastics because it burns a ton of energy, so they sleep well at night. But you know what I mean. Sleep's big. But B, it gets them the coordination and core strength and stuff like that. Just to be a kid and / it's good for athletic training if that's what they want to do. But she got invited to the pre-team for gymnastics, which is kind of like the precursor of like, if they like that and they do well, then they get invited to the team, and that's when they start doing competitions and stuff. So yeah, we've had those conversations. If that's what she wants to do, that's great. I think it is, but I think the gymnastics world's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, it's very hardcore. Like those kids, some of them don't go to like they do homeschooling at the gym. Those kids don't leave the gym at all. So they don't really have social lives that much. But if that's what she wants to do, yeah, I'm cool with it. I'll support it.
And what about Tootie, little Pat?
Yeah.
I mean, that kid's already an animal. If he doesn't play football, I think it's going to be a letdown for all of us. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. He loves baseball. That's his thing right now.
Oh, does he? Nice.
Yeah, I can like pitch him and he'll be hitting them. I'm like, geez.
I always feel like that happens though, like with your kid. Like think like they're so advanced and elite. Like Palmer's not doing anything crazy, but like she like drops a ball. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be an amazing softball.
Look at that arm. Look at that arm. You see the heat off that ball?
Yeah, absolutely.
Total dad move there. Jeez.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
One thing I want to ask you too. Okay, so my wife knows, I won't name names, but my wife knows this person that had a child and it ended up being a girl. And I know the husband wanted a boy. There was a lot of disappointment. It wasn't a boy. And I saw they're having a boy. They probably know who I'm talking about now, but good for them. They're getting one of each. When you were having a girl up front, were you pumped either way? Like, I didn't care. I just want a healthy kid, but were you like really hoping you're getting a boy, or you got one of each? So now it doesn't matter.
I got one of each, but no, like from the get-go, I did not care at all. I was going to just try to be the best dad I could either way. I think either one would be great. And like, just like you, I just wanted healthy.
Yeah. Cause I wanted a boy really bad. I'll be honest. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care. Like I love racing. I was hoping I'd have like a son. He'd get into racing. And then when we got pregnant, I was like, you know what? I just want healthy. We had a daughter, and I'm like, kind of want another daughter.
Yeah, it's crazy how it changes, right?
Yeah, I really do want another daughter, which sounds crazy, but I really do.
My sisters are awesome, though. I mean, Shelby's got 2 other sisters. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's like an amazing bond.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat and I think Av will be really close because that's how me and my sister were. But
for sure, and they're 13 months apart. So I mean, they already have a good bond. They're little buddies already.
is that considered Irish twins?
I think it's within a calendar year. I think it's within 12 months. It's technically Irish twins.
I looked this up the other day after it got mentioned. 12 to 18 months, but I've always heard it's you basically have a kid and get pregnant right away. I don't think anything passed because my brother and I are 18 months apart. I've never thought of us being anything but 18 months apart.
Do people?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that was Irish twins, 18 months apart.
Yeah. When people found out you were pregnant with the second, did they start like counting like on their hands like to like?
You can see the judge on the face too. Yeah. We're like, again, really?
Are you sure?
Wow, you can't be happy for us? Like, yeah, we are.
So it seems like you had like the inverse reaction. Normally it's like, when are you having your second? It's like you didn't even have time for them to even like gather those thoughts on their head to
like, we didn't even know you had one.
Oh man. So me and Josh were talking about this the other day. Like, is there like a toy or gadget that like you guys can't live without? Like whether it be like when they're an infant or like right now, just to kind of like get through the day. Because I know there's like some dark stretches throughout the day before they go to sleep. I didn't know if they had a special toy or.
Yeah, each of them have like this little that they sleep with. Not necessarily like a toy during the day. Like we travel so much, and they just like I didn't have all the toys obviously in Chicago that they have here. And so you buy little toys or you just go outside and have fun. And our kids are really good about doing that and just kind of adapting to whatever. Not necessarily a toy, but like a little sleeping buddy. Yeah. And you're going to laugh at this. So Av has like a little cute little squirrel thing that's named Josie. And she's got like a little knit sweater on. It's like really cute and girly. And that's Josie. And she always sleeps with Josie. And then Tootie's favorite animal is an alligator.
Oh, yes. Of course it is.
Yeah, he doesn't sleep with like a stuffed alligator. It's like a hard plastic pointy alligator. Like if you stepped on it, you would 100% be like, "Oh my foot!"
I think that describes him though to a T.
Yeah, you go check on him at night, and he's like snuggled with that thing and loving it. And I'm like, God dang, doesn't that hurt?
It's like laying his head on this hard plastic alligator.
Gotta be just right.
Right? It cracks me up.
Yes, we were talking about like the gadgets that like families have, especially when it's like your first. You buy like the snoo, or like you buy things to like make it sleep, and like
the snoo was the best.
You were a snooer, right?
Oh, 100%. I will advocate for snoo all day long. That I should have.
Is that the one that like the bed that kind of like vibrates? And
listen, I was my wife told 100%. My wife told me about it, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. Like this bed like rocks them when they cry, and you know what are we getting our baby into?" And then I was like, "Whatever, you can order it," and it shows up, and I'm assembling it. I was like, "This is crazy." First night we get home with Billy, put her in it, she cries, and it rocked her back to sleep. And I was like, okay, now I get why it's worth the money because this thing is sick. I didn't have to get up. It would rock her every time. I mean, it was really good.
How was it? Have you transitioned out of it?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was easy. I mean, towards the end, because you basically have it set up to rock when they cry, and then eventually you just start weaning them off it so they're like in a bed.
What is it, like sound sensitive?
Yeah,
picks up
they'll pick up movement and sound, and then it starts rocking them. You can set it to a pretty high setting where it looks like kind of intense, like going. But it really worked. I mean, it was a lifesaver.
I wonder how
like the stormy sea setting.
Yeah, we're rocking. Yeah, I will say, like for new dads out there, if you're listening, this is like easily the number one thing I would recommend. I can't advocate for it enough. And then the other one for me is right now is this thing called Sleep Sack from I think it's
100%.
Yeah, we're definitely we have that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about a blanket. And that was like one thing I didn't think about. Like you know how like you cuddle up in a little comforter like when you sleep. I'm like, you can't put a blanket in a crib. Like that is obviously like a hazard.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely don't put a blanket in the crib for all the new dads out there.
Yeah, don't do that.
Get the sleep sack. But Josh actually has a new favorite show with his daughter. And I knew you were really big into shows with Av. Go ahead,
Oh,
Josh.
All right. So my favorite show right now is Bluey. It's not even close. Bluey is the best show ever. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's so good. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's about blue
What is it
healers
on?
in Australia. And it's like mom and dad and two little dogs. And it is the cutest show ever. But they have a lot of adult humor in it, which I like. And the one episode is the dad's building something off like IKEA. And the mom goes, you know, you have to follow the instructions. And he goes, I'm not taking advice from a cartoon dog. It's just like, it's got something for everyone.
What do you guys watch over there at the Scales household?
We mix it up. We're big. Have you guys seen Stinky and Dirty?
No.
No?
I think Palmer's too young for that right now.
Yeah, probably
Like
a little
Coco
bit.
Melon,
Oh,
and it's like
Gotcha.
cocaine for kids. Like watching that,
Coco Melon's kind of terrifying.
it kind of is. But
Yeah, we're huge Disney Plus
Oh, yeah.
fan, like movies.
Do you watch
I love
Encanto yet?
Of course,
It's pretty good.
Of course. Favorite song on Encanto? Go.
Surface Pressure. I was just talking to Pat about it. How about you?
Yes, with the weightlifting
Oh, yeah.
sister, right? The
With
sister?
Luisa.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it goes
Song's a
hard.
banger. It's so good. It's really
It's a
relatable.
Yeah, really good.
so you guys thinking about having another kid at some point in your life?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Are you guys done with two?
We're in discussions about it. We go back and forth a lot, though. Like, it's so nice. They're both potty trained. They're both like, we cook them food, but they do everything else.
Feed
you know what I mean?
themselves.
Yes, exactly. But we do, like, I'm the youngest of four, and Brandy is the oldest of two, and she always wanted a bigger family. So we're kind of like we see the perks of it, but we also see the downside of it.
You guys gonna have?
And we also don't want three. We don't want the middle child. So if we're going to do
Yeah.
it, like, it's like two more or nothing.
Oh, so you're going
Commitment.
straight to
Full
4
on.
or 2? I love it.
Right?
That's how the Scales
Right?
do over there. So will you guys, when baby 3 comes, we'll say when, are you guys
Okay,
going to do
there
a
you go.
gender reveal? Or are you guys not about that life?
No, we didn't find out the gender on any of our kids.
Ooh, Pat style right there.
Yeah.
Essentially, when it comes
Right.
out,
We-
that's your gender reveal.
Exactly.
They-
Boom.
Gotcha.
Brandy said that's the only true surprise in life.
It is true. It really is. I know Josh is
Yeah.
like shaking his head.
I can't do that,
He's-
but I don't disagree with you.
Brandy was shocked on our second one. She was convinced it was another girl. And then Tootie came out, and she was like almost in denial at first. She was like, no, like, no way. Like, oh, yeah, here it is.
So we talked a lot. I mean, is there any other questions that you got for Scalesy?
Yeah, there is another question I have.
I know you always have like one last
I know, I like to
question or
throw
two
something.
last questions.
I like to throw something in. So we're talking about the birth at the end there. I got some crap from my wife for cutting the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? Can we talk about this? Because I don't
You mean the
think.
consistency of the cord? Like,
Yeah.
you think it was like Jello? Like,
No,
you just like put your finger in and just like.
I got yelled at by my wife for saying I didn't cut it right and that I was going to mess up my daughter's belly button, if that makes any sense. And I mean, I took those scissors. It was like the grand opening of a building, and I was like, wham! And it still didn't go, and it just like bounced back. And I was like, yo, have you guys sharpened the scissors? Like, what are you doing? They're like, we'll stretch it out for you. Give it a little couple snips, and it worked. But I got so much crap for that. I don't know if any other dads are dealing with that, but it was not fun.
I mean,
Dude, I was shocked at the texture of it. It's like a thick rubber hose. Like, it's meaty.
how is that even developed? Like, the woman body is just amazing. Like, how the whole birth and pregnancy combined. It's just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I watched a diagram one time of when the kid grows, like where the woman's organs go in the body, and it was like mind blowing to me. It was like, whoa, no wonder like your stomach hurts.
Yeah, no wonder you're
You know what I
a
mean?
little
Like,
upset
no wonder
today.
give them a little grace. Yeah, when they're
Yeah.
not feeling good. Oh,
I get it.
They're working, even when they're not.
yeah, they are. Well, Pat, this leads us to our final question. How we usually end with our guests, we do a little bit of a would you rather scenario. Okay. You've probably been through a million of these already. Your oldest is 4, correct? But I'm going to go younger. I'm going to go Pat. So little Pat, Tootie, would you rather share a bed with little Pat the night before a game? Probably get no sleep. I'm assuming he's the one that tosses and turns because I just triggered in my mind because he's like a very violent sleeper. Or would you rather wear his underwear as a jockstrap for the duration of the game?
Oh, his current size, dude.
Current size.
Oh man, 100. I would sleep with him 100% before I did that. That sounds extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. A little coffee will help everything.
Especially me, long snapping, bending over. That thing would
the undies just
so quick.
It's over.
Yeah. The amount of times that you bend over in a game. Pause.
Yeah. For sure. I just take my L and not get any sleep.
At least he's honest about it.
He is.
Well, Pat, I want you to close us off today on Locker Room Dads. What do you got going on this year? What's going on in your life? You tell the people out there what's going on about being a dad.
About being a dad? Oh man, I'll tell you what, I'm dadding out hard today with some home projects. I'm replacing some filters. Kids are away at daycare right now, but once they get back, it's a nice day back here in Texas, and we are going to tear up the driveway. We're talking bikes, remote control cars, maybe shoot some basketball, take a little batting practice. I'm just trying to have fun, man.
It's what you got to do. It's the off season. Can't hold anything back.
Exactly.
You can't.
Exactly.
Well, Pat, we do appreciate your time here on Locker Room Dads. Hopefully, we'll get you on next time. In season or something. We'll talk kids, family. Maybe you're gonna have your third then. Who knows? Fourth. Yeah. Because I know how you like to pump out quick.
I hear twins.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for everyone listening for Locker Room Dads. We will talk to you next time.
Locker Room Dads is brought to you by Stormhouse Brewing. South Florida's best pint and bite is located in sunny North Palm Beach. Whether you're looking for a great craft beer, delicious food, or watching your favorite team, they're always brewing the perfect storm. And Coach First. Coach First is a fully integrated app that is designed for athletes and coaches alike. Whether you want to book your next training session or take your coaching to the next level, Coach First is the app for you. Find them on the App Store and sign up today.